Hello, my name is Ryan Quinn, and for my final video diary for GT1000, I'm going to be doing a compilation of the 4 diaries I made, each 2 weeks apart, of how my workload increased over time. And you'll see how my workload wasn't very much at the beginning, and I wasn't very confident in what I was doing. And at the end, I was very confident in what I was doing, and I thought I knew exactly what to do. So here's the first video. So far, the workload for college hasn't been that bad. I usually spend around an hour between 2 hours each night, mostly due to my computer science really stumped me this past week, but hopefully that won't happen again. That took me till the end of Friday night, when it's due at Friday at midnight. Probably finished at around 10 o'clock. Shouldn't do that again. I haven't had to make use of any of the tutoring yet because I've always felt I knew the material. Like calculus, I've been doing well in the quizzes. Chemistry, I've been doing well in the quizzes, but we'll see how long that holds up. In my first video, you can see that I was doing pretty alright with the amount of work I was doing each night. Like, I was only doing 1 to 2 hours, and I ended up putting off computer science till last Friday, so I ended up having to fix that over the course of the year. And at the beginning, I was not using any of the tutoring that they offered. Here's my second video.
I think it's been 2 weeks since my last one, and since then, not much has changed. Well, the workload definitely seems a bit more now that I've been studying for this calculus test for like 7 hours and still need to study a lot more, and that's in 2 days, so that should be exciting. And but otherwise, I haven't been spending as much. I've been spending about the same time on my other classes on their amount of work.
My second diary entry, you can see that I still thought I was doing fine with the workload, and that the amount of work I was doing was steadily increasing as I had a calculus test that I had to study for. And I talked about how I was studying a large number of hours for it, but I also said that the amount of work in my other classes remained about the same. So here's my next diary entry, which is, I think, the first diary entry I made after I had taken a test in one of these classes. Over the past 2 weeks, I don't think I've gotten many grades back unless I think I said in the last video that I failed my calculus test and I should study a lot more. But if I didn't, yeah, that happened. So that's good. But the final will replace one of the grades on the test, and I feel like I should probably study a lot for the final anyway. So hopefully I'll do well on that, and that will work out for me. In my third video diary entry, you can see that I obviously was not as prepared as I thought I was for that calculus test, as I ended up doing really poorly on it, and that the amount I was studying was not enough, so I would obviously have to pick it up and start studying more often, and not just a couple days before the test. So here is my fourth video diary entry. My second diary entry, you can see that I still thought I was doing fine with the workload, and that the amount of work I was doing was steadily increasing as I had a calculus test that I had to study for. And I talked about how I was studying a large number of hours for it, but I also said that the amount of work in my other classes remained about the same. So here's my next diary entry, which is, I think, the first diary entry I made after I had taken a test in one of these classes. Been pretty busy, is why I haven't done it exactly in 2 weeks this time, because this week I had 2 tests to study for, Tuesday, Wednesday, so those were exciting. Yeah, basically as soon as I got back, I had a CS test the first day I was back. We came back on Wednesday, I had a test 10 a.m. Wednesday, so of course I didn't study much at home, so I had to study Tuesday night a lot for the CS test, but I ended up getting a 90 on that, so that's good. And then the following week, this week, I had a calc test on Tuesday, so I ended up studying for a lot this weekend. I didn't do much else but study and then relax some and then study some more for calc. And then with my infinite wisdom, I decided to put the test was at 12 o'clock today, Tuesday, for calc, and the chem test is tomorrow at 6. So I've been studying most of today for the chem test, and yeah, so cramming the night before, but seems to be doing pretty well. I did pretty well in the practice exam, and I think I'll do well. And my fourth video diary entry, in which I had a computer science test 1 week, and then the next week I had 2 tests consecutively right after each other. You can see that I did well in the computer science one, and I was confident about my calculus one, that I had studied enough for it, and that for chemistry I was confident for that. Well, I was not confident for that one, as I only had started studying the night before for that one, so I had not learned my lesson from before. And for my CS one, I had gone on vacation the week before, so I had to study just for 2 days for that one, but that one worked out well, where I got, like I said, a 90 on it. And that's my video diary entry. Hopefully you could see how my workload had obviously increased from the beginning, when I was saying I was only spending an hour to 2 hours a night and not spending much time on the other classes, to at the end when I was studying a lot for all my classes, for CS, where I was able to pick up my grade, and for calculus, where I was confident that I would do well on the test, and for chemistry, I was at least spending the entire day before the test studying. So that's my name's Ryan Quinn, and that was my project for GT1000. Thanks.